It is the Riot Podcast. This is the Friday, December 8th edition, a special edition of the podcast because Isaiah is out today, so we got Nikki instead.
I feel like we should at this point, though, soon do a show with all three of us. So it's never just, I'm only here when someone's gone.
Yeah, that's right. It always feels like it's not a negative when you're here, but it feels like it's not under the best circumstances. So yeah,
that is true.
We'll have to work on that. Maybe a Christmas special. Well, I mean, I don't know if I don't think it's in the podcast, but we reveal that today we decided that you're going to be a part of the Riot Christmas party, so that kind of counts.
I am. That does count. But if not, sometime soon we promise it won't always be you only get me if someone else is gone. That's not in my contract.
Yeah.
It's not a rule.
Yeah, we'll invite you on here. Next week, I think everybody's supposed to be here all week long, so we can.
Okay,
well,
I'm busy next week.
Oh.
I'm just teasing you. I'm totally just teasing you.
Today in the podcast, because Nikki was here, we got to find out what she wants for Christmas. We also find out about NATO dating and find out that is the new trend, but like we're looking back at 2023. So who's to say if that will be the trend in 2024? It's tough to say.
Oh, that is a good question. Maybe sometime soon you should ponder with the listeners what does a new trend look like for next year? What do we think dating will be like?
Yeah. What is going to change going forward? Actually, I had another question too that we didn't have a chance to get to in the show, but I'll ask you real quick. That's similar to that, and we talk about like a lot of stuff that goes back in time. Like today we talked about tinsel on Christmas trees and the very first text message. So like kind of going back in time that way. What are we going to miss 20 years from now? When we're all 20 years older, what are we going to look back from this time and be like, oh man, I miss that about when it was 2023?
Gosh, you could go real deep and sad with that. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you guys text 877 to RadioU and put that you're a podcast listener, I guess it just seems like even if you go back a year or two, or not during COVID, but like before that, things seemed a tiny bit easier and cheaper. So I don't know, maybe just an easier time. I don't know how else to say that, but I feel like times never get easier for a lot of people. It gets harder.
I wonder too. We've talked a lot about like self-checkouts recently, and there's a big debate on whether self-checkouts, some stores sound like they want to get rid of them. Other stores just keep putting more in. So I wonder like 20 years from now, if we're going to be thinking, oh, I wish they would bring back self-checkouts. Remember when we used to have self-checkouts?
It could be, because like for me, I had to return something the other day, and a part of me was like, gosh, I wish I could just go to the store and go to the counter and have them return this item, even though I never even received it yet. But instead I had to do a chat bot, and I was just like, no.
I'll tell you one thing that
and it worked, but it was annoying.
No, you're right. Chat bots, we're going to miss just actual people, customer service, because I miss it already.
Yeah.
The dealing with, you just can never talk to a person right off the bat. You have to go through some kind of AI first that never has the answer you want and is like just for some reason apologetic, like as if it knows that it's not helping you either, even though it's not a real thing. I can't wait to be done with this.
So I think AI, because like even when you go to McDonald's and the stupid recorded message of the bots are in the beginning, you're like, please I want to order. You miss sometimes that.
Yeah, just the little delays. Well, yeah, that's probably something that we'll talk about. Not in this episode of the show any further, but in a future episode, we'll get some people's thoughts, so you can actually text in your feedback right away if you want to 8772 RadioU. Yeah, thanks for being a part of it, Nikki.
Anytime, you schedule me ahead of time now.
It's the Riot.
Bye.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Hello, Nikki.
Good morning, Hudson. And we are so glad Isaiah's taking a day off for funsies and not because he's like deathly ill. So he's totally just taking the day off for fun.
I'm glad that the reason he's off today is under good circumstances. Nikki, I have an update to share with you and everybody that as I make a Christmas list this year, one thing that may need to be on it is a really good travel coffee mug. And the
Who would
reason,
travel? Well, you normally are fine though. You have like your little cups and stuff.
yeah, and actually, honestly, I don't use a travel mug all that often, except here in the studio because I need to have a mug that is sealed so I don't spill on anything.
We have a lid policy.
Yeah, I gotta have a real good lid. It's all about the lid. But you may remember this, Nikki, that here I've had my iconic Sheetz travel mug.
Absolutely.
It says Papa needs his coffee on it.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, and I've had that for a while, and I love it dearly. However, earlier this week, somebody went through, and I guess they did some cleaning in the around the office, which we're grateful for. However, they in their cleaning seem to have used some kind of possibly bleach on our RadioU coffee maker and also on that mug.
So, okay, now we've had this before where someone has cleaned out the coffee maker, and they pour something so that they run a coffee drip.
Yeah.
And then it ruins it. So did someone do that again?
Yeah, the coffee maker, it definitely smelled of chlorine actually
bleach.
The closest thing I compare it to, even more than chlorine, is toilet bowl cleaner.
That's maybe what they used.
Which is exactly what you want your coffee to smell and taste like.
Did they put one of those urinal cakes in it?
No. Oh, now you've made my mind go to even worse places than it already was. I just thought I was getting poisoned, but now...
No, open the lid and see.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, the good news is the coffee, I made one pot of coffee. It's tasted and smelled horrible, but then I was like, okay, I can fix this. And so we cleaned it out, and we've been using the coffee maker here the last few days. It's just fine. However, as much as I scrub and use different soaps and whatever on my coffee mug because of the different material, the chemicals have been ingrained in it. So I don't think I can continue using it. I've been using a Yeti mug that was left here by a former employee.
Ooh, we'll just take that. But no, I agree. I got a Wawa cup that I made a chai tea in once. And it just lingers, like the taste. Mm-hmm. It never goes away anytime you make some other drink. So once it's like porous. So I think you're going to have to get a new one.
That's what it is. It's the material. If it's not like the stainless steel, if it's plastic, for some reason that's like permeable for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, we'll just go look in the closet and see if there's anything else someone left and just take those.
Yeah, that's right. There is probably enough discarded mugs from over the years that I can make do. The Yeti mug has been serving me fine. Actually, the one issue I have with the Yeti mug, it's too good because it keeps the coffee too hot.
It's too fancy for you.
Yeah, so I've been here for an hour. My mug, I can't start drinking out of it for another 3 hours.
Still too good.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. RadioU.
Nikki is here with me. Nikki, I'm sure you've seen the stories. Fortnite got sued a while back. It was because they made it too easy or too confusing, I suppose, for people to not buy stuff and for kids to not buy stuff. And so finally, that was years ago that this was going down. Finally now, if you were somebody who accidentally bought something in Fortnite or your kids actually did it, or you did it and your parents are mad
blame them.
Yeah. You can actually finally claim your refund from Epic Games, from Fortnite, from that transgression of theirs from years ago.
So how much do they have to pay back? Like what was their fee or their fine?
Let's see. The total is $245 million. That's the total that goes to customers. Yes.
Okay. Each now.
Yeah, right. You wish, right?
We're all in. Well, you have to realize though, for Epic Games, like because of Fortnite being so popular for so many years, 245 million people are still mad. That's nothing to them.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one day in the game of like their money that they make. So that's not as much as it sounds to us everyday people.
Yeah. And when you split that out among the 37 million customers that are affected, That means that
Do the math. What is
each person is entitled to about $6.62.
Wow, there it is.
Which would really suck if you were somebody that did like wind up erroneously buying a whole ton of stuff on there and it all racked up. Like I imagine too, if you're a parent that your like child was messing around on there, didn't know what they were doing, they probably didn't just buy one thing by accident. They probably bought 100 of them. And what do you get? You get $6.62 probably.
Wait, what's your Christmas saying? The hoop-de-doo or the whoop-de-doo?
Oh, yeah. It's the refund season. Hoop-de-doo.
Hoop-de-doo. So Epic Games, it's called Misleading Tactics for the in-game purchases. And they say, yes, it is 37 million players who have the opportunity. They say it's too close to like online gaming, like for gambling and stuff.
Yeah.
And so since it's a lot younger of a target, they want to protect the consumer.
Do you think if you're a child and you accidentally bought a bunch of stuff and now like your parents are getting the refund, do you think they use that towards your Christmas present or they just keep that for themselves?
Well, it could be not the $6, but like when I was younger, it'd be like, well, welcome, that was your Christmas.
Yeah,
that's all you get, totally.
Ooh, what if they think about this. I bet you there's a kid that's going through this right now, where they accidentally spent a bunch of money. The parents realize, and they're like, this is coming out of your allowance, or you're going to have to rake leaves or something until this is paid back. And so what does that mean? Does that mean now as a kid, like if that was you, now you can be like, now you owe me because I paid this back by doing chores.
Hudson, I just want to know, we all got a glimpse into Hudson's punishments when he was a kid, because if raking leaves was what you got.
Hey, raking leaves is no fun. We never had a leaf blower growing up, so it was hard work.
Yeah, but that's because it sounds New England, because that's where you grew up. We didn't get leaves like that.
I was lucky. We only had like 2 trees on the whole property. So
You were very lucky.
And it still sucked to rake leaves.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Isaiah is out on vacation for the weekend.
It's good he gets a day off. And this is really a good way to end the week. I mean, you have Andrew yesterday and you have me today.
That's right. All kinds of special guests. We're pulling out all the stops.
Everything good comes at the end of the week.
Yeah. Nikki, this is a big week. Normally at this time on the show, we'd be doing useless knowledge. I'm not going to quiz you, but I am going to give you some useless knowledge. And that is that this week is the anniversary of when the very first text message was ever sent.
Oh, nice. How old is it then?
The first text message was sent in 1992. So 31 years ago was the very first text message. It was 2 words. And actually, if you thought about it for a second, you might be able to guess what those 2 words were.
Hello, hi, stop in all caps to stop and unsubscribe.
Actually, that was the first reply.
That was the first reply.
But no, it would be very fitting if the first texts were like ahoy ahoy or something, because that's what that's what they said when the first phone was invented. But instead, the first 2 words that were written in the very first text message was actually Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's nice. And was it like testing between 2 things or like official? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like,
yeah,
was it just two phone people, or was it like, no, we're scientists working on the phone stuff?
Yeah, it was like inventors that were working on this. It was sent, let's see, whatever this means, from an orbital 901 handset, and it was sent
by an engineer.
By an engineer named Neil Papworth to his colleague, Richard Jarvis. So he's being nice and friendly, sending a text message to Richard.
How fun. That's so old. It's so old looking.
Looking at like the phone and whatever. It is crazy. It's crazy to think how far things have come. I bet you they had no idea in 1992 when they were sending this first text message that basically 31 years later, text messaging would nearly be outdated pretty much.
Pretty much. They said that after that, the phone company Nokia included texting in their phones. And then they were the ones to start with a beep tone alert to people, let them know. So they're the ones who came up with the alert system to let you know that you got a text message.
You think about this guy that invented it too, Neil Papworth, at least the one that first sent it. He must have really hated phone calls.
Oh, he was just trying to do anything.
anything.
We're all kind of introverts, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe his mom just called him nonstop or something. And he's like, I got to invent a way. I've got to think of something so that I can not have to talk to these people for hours on end.
Well, they said that at first people back, 31 years ago, they said that they couldn't text on their phones because phones didn't have like proper keyboards at that time.
That's right. Yeah. Did you ever have a phone like that where you had to like use the 1 through 9 and whatever?
I started with BlackBerry. So I think like my very first one had that. It had like a little pearl thing you could maneuver around. And then, you had to go through the letters, I think. But not too long after, we didn't have to deal with that. So.
Yeah. I remember my friends, I was late to the phone game, but my friends, they would brag about it. T9 word.
Ooh.
Then that was like the thing that predicted the words you were going to write after you put in the first couple letters. And they were like, no, I can text with my eyes closed and that like now that's not impressive, I guess. But back then when you had to use you had to press 1 so many times to get whatever letter you wanted. I guess that was impressive.
Well, thank you to the 2 engineers who started it all off for us. And you're welcome to text us at 877-2-RADIO-U so we can continue the tradition today.
And so you don't have to talk to us on the phone.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
I believe I've said this to you already, but I need to say thank you again. You're a real go-getter. You already have sent your Christmas card and your Christmas gift to me, which I don't know.
Did.
Maybe I should have waited till Christmas to open it. I didn't realize.
Oh, no. I'm glad you opened it. It's for you to use whenever you want.
Well, you'll be lucky if you get your gift from me in time for Christmas, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You don't have to. You don't have to. But when I was like, hey, I want to get everybody a little something. And I was like, what do I think that Hudson would still want? So I went and got you a Popeyes gift card.
Yes, I'm very appreciative of that. Actually, if I'm being honest, I might use that tonight.
Oh, really? Oh, yay.
Yeah.
But did you see my note on it?
Yeah, I saw that and I'm waiting to hear. You said that it wasn't easy to get this Popeyes gift card, so I want to know what actually happened.
And based off of what I went through to get it, I'll never go back to a Popeyes again.
Oh,
and
no.
I think I've said that before, but I really, truly mean it. There's a Popeyes near me that its roof is falling off and they just don't fix it.
Uh-huh.
And it's just kind of like in shambles. And we've all been to that sort of Popeyes before.
Of course.
I feel like you don't get any middle Popeyes. You get either really, really bad shape or they're like super nice.
Yes, that's definitely
Never
true.
in between.
100% true.
I went to the really, really bad one because that was the closest one to me. And I went through the drive-thru and no one answered at the call box. And it was 1 hour after the store opened, according to Google, when I looked up its hours, right?
Okay.
So then I drive around
well,
and
what
I
time
go,
is that? Like 11 o'clock or something, probably?
At this point, it said it opened at 10:30, and I was there around 11:30.
Okay.
That's lunchtime, don't you think?
You have to be open at that time.
You do. So then I drive around, and I was like, hey, no one's coming to answer the call box. So I go drive around, and we pull into the parking lot, and I make Eric go to the door because I thought he'll just go in. And no one answers the door. It's locked.
Oh, no.
But there's a lot of people waiting in the spots. And so I was like, okay, well, let's just give it a couple more minutes. And finally this older lady comes up to the door and I'm watching her from my car and she's so mad that it's not open. So she gets her phone out. I was telling Eric, it's like, oh, she's going to call. Like she'll find out. Why are they not open? And she's banging on the door. No one comes. And then finally she gets so mad. She goes to her car and she pulls away.
Uh-huh.
A worker then comes to the front of Popeyes and puts a sign on and says drive-through only, but they spelled through wrong. And so I was like, okay, I'll go through the drive-through right. And I think we've waited like 25 minutes at this point, but I told Eric, I was like, I need to get Hudson this Popeyes gift card. So we go through and at the call box, she finally answers. And I'm going back again. And I was like, hey, I just need to get a gift card. Can I get a gift card? And she goes, well, I don't know. I've never done one before.
Oh, no.
And so she goes, well, just pull around. So I pull around and she had to call the owner of that one, like the manager one.
Uh-huh.
And she said, hey, how do I do a gift card for this person? And I'm waiting at the drive-thru, and it had rained that morning. And the water's dripping on my car from the overhead thing on the Popeye's roof.
Yeah.
While I'm waiting, while she's trying to
I hate when that happens. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, okay. And so they gave me a sandwich to like pass the time because they just opened. She goes, oh, we just don't have enough workers. We can't open. And so the guy starts making a sandwich, and I hope your gift card works, honestly. I really, truly hope it works. I checked.
It has money on it.
Okay, good. It has money. That's all I needed to know because she wasn't very confident in it.
I checked because I didn't trust you, by the way.
I know, thank you, right? So to end the story at this Popeyes, I mean, I am trying to be nice. It's just a mess, like just an absolute mess. And they give me the chicken sandwich, so I drive off and I'm like, hey, this tastes so good. And then I realize it wasn't cooked the whole way through.
No way.
And so I couldn't even eat the sandwich. And I thought, oh man, just Hudson, take your gift card. It was so bad.
You went through so much more than I would ever go through to get you a gift card. I'm telling you.
I didn't want to come back again. And I thought, no, he wants Popeyes. He'll really like Popeyes. And so I just want it to work right for you.
It's okay. Next time, feel free to just Chick-fil-A is totally fine. They wouldn't put you through all that.
They would not. It would not be their pleasure to do that to me.
No,
so
absolutely not.
But enjoy it tonight if you go.
I definitely will. And I thank you again. And I'll tell you one more quick, I think this is a pro tip. And that is, unless you can only get the gift card at the fast food place, you shouldn't. Because when I worked at Panera too, I don't even remember now. I just remember every time somebody wanted to buy a gift card. It's not so simple. It's not like it is at the store where you just go and swipe it. It's for some reason more difficult, even though that makes no sense.
See, that's why I went to go in, but they weren't open. So you just can't win.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Now, everything is cyclical. I find that more and more. For example, Christmas tree style. Because something that probably hasn't been seen on a Christmas tree for many, many years is making its comeback. It's becoming a trend again, and that is tinsel on Christmas trees. Nikki, you going to put tinsel on your tree this year? Did you decorate that way?
Oh, as a pet owner, it seems like the stupidest idea.
Oh, you took the words out of my mouth, Nikki.
I don't think we can, but I remember when I was really young, my grandmother used to use tinsel, and then my mom used it for a little. So I remember some of our first memories, putting the tinsel up was mine and my brother's job. Like you'd artfully throw it on the tree and then zhoosh it around. And then it was our job to take it off the tree.
Ooh.
And I hated it because you'd stuff it into a Ziploc bag and it was just everywhere. And so I remember just being like, why do we do this? And then we just never did when we grew up. It was gone.
You saved and reused the tinsel?
Yeah, my mom did. Absolutely.
Isn't that funny to think about? Because how much, honestly, could it possibly cost?
Probably not much.
It can't
be
much,
what? Do you want me
right?
to ask her?
It's like saving, and it's very similar in this way to the Easter grass.
Oh, yes, that's exactly
It's like the same material, and that'd be a wild thing to reuse. Yeah, but it's also very similar because that Easter grass, if you have after Easter, you still find that Easter grass a lot of times strewn through the house. Yeah, stuck in the carpet somewhere or something.
So Christmas tree tinsel is just shiny version of Easter basket grass.
Yep.
And now it is all the rage to put on a tree.
Yeah. If you go on TikTok, you'll probably see that there are many people. Now, for me, you know this, I love old school stuff. I love vintage, going back in time, retro looks. The tinsel is not something that I would embrace either, even though a lot of the other old kind of fashion styles with Christmas trees, I'm into it. Color wheels, aluminum trees. The way old Christmas trees just used to look so chaotic. Now everyone's tree is so put together. They used to be colorful, but the tinsel I can't get with. And it's in for the top reason is just because of pets. Because I had a cat when I was a kid, and my parents would put tinsel on the tree, and my cat actually ate the tinsel. And what goes in must come out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because my cat one time, Panda, already gone, but not because of this, but ate a balloon string one time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they had to cut the balloon string out of their stomach.
Ooh.
So like they're not supposed to, if you have a cat, tinsel and cats do not work because, and if you want to know how expensive it is to save your cat.
Ooh, yeah, that can't be good.
It's more than the tinsel.
You have to ask yourself how much you really love it.
I think just if you want to be on trend, that's one thing. But if you have a cat, don't do this trend.
Yeah, no, it's true. For my cat, Nikki, we didn't have to take it to the vet, fortunately, because the string or the tinsel did make its way out. But you can imagine.
The original way or the other way?
The way it's meant to.
Okay, there.
But it also, let's just say it tied a lot of other things together, too. So.
Okay. They do say also, so they were saying several people say don't do it this way because it looks a lot like a communist sort of old school look from like the Soviet sort of style. And I was like, well, it's not that. It's just, it's deadly for your cats.
Yeah, it's just that it's kind of like, it felt like when, I remember this, when the cat had eaten it, it was like, when a clown is pulling, or a magician is pulling the handkerchiefs out of its mouth, except there was tinsel, and it was my cat's butt.
Okay, well, all right. Now, this is a no. I'm closing out of the article. We're not doing this.
Made a convincing argument against.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
For the live show, it's all elf themed. Nikki, I believe, you're going to be joining us for it as well?
I should be. Of course, it's Christmas and it's the riot, so I have to. I'm making myself, or I'm imposing myself, even if you didn't want me.
No, we definitely want you. Now, it's elf themed. Can you dress up like Jovi from the Elf movie?
Do you remember how I never liked to even dress up for Halloween? I don't know if I want to do anything for elf, but we'll see. It's not a no, but it's not a yes.
I know what that means. That means it's
a no.
Okay, well, make sure you join Nikki and myself and Isaiah for the Radio U Riot live Christmas party. That's Thursday, this coming Thursday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, on the Radio U Riot Facebook page and YouTube channel. Nikki, talking of Christmas, what is on your Christmas list this year?
Ooh, I'm a gift card gal, and I'm not embarrassed about that. Sometimes people really make you feel bad because you don't have items that you want specifically for Christmas.
Yes.
But especially this year, I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I would like my basic life expenses helped paid for.
Yeah.
So if a gift card goes towards that sort of stuff, I will not say no. So like Costco and Amazon, bring it on.
Yeah, I like that too. I have only managed to come up with a couple of actual physical items that I want. The difficulty is if you're talking about just gift cards, especially if you're talking kind of like just, I want generic money that I can spend in any different amount of ways. If you're getting that for somebody and they're getting it for you, then it's like, why even trade? You know what I mean?
It's, and that argument, that's a tale as old as time, but I still feel like it is a thought, especially if they don't give you the same amount, like gift card back.
Yeah.
But if you try to find something, but like if you want to pay for my electric bill or my food, then that's fine. So I think I'm good.
I believe that would make me happier than really anything, any actual thing I could get. But I'll tell you, for me, Nikki, besides on my list this year, I need a new pair of Bluetooth headphones, like earbuds. And I have I need a nice new hoodie. It would be real nice to get as a gift. But what I really want, Isaiah and I have talked about this. Apparently this is on trend this year. And that is, instead of getting things, and instead of getting gift cards per se, is getting like experiences. Is getting for me, if somebody wants to contribute in some way to helping me take a vacation next year, whatever it is you can do, whether it's a gift card to like some hotel or whatever, or you like if you really want to be a big spender and you want to like buy plane tickets for me to come somewhere, whatever it may be, that or like concert contributions, That's what I'm looking for. Now, I don't know how many
something
people.
like send you to a football game or a hockey game or something. So getting you tickets for that. That's a good idea.
My parents actually did that for my birthday. They've got me hockey tickets to go see a game coming up here in a couple months. So that kind of thing. And the reason I am leaning that direction is because you think about the things you get for Christmas, and a lot of those things, right? You don't remember. If you think back to a different year, you're like, what did I get for Christmas? But if you get experiences, if you're like, well, I went to this concert and you're going to remember the concert, and you remember that's because somebody bought those tickets for me at Christmas time. So I think it actually makes it a lot more of a long-term memorable gift as well.
Do you hear that? That's Hudson being sentimental right there. It's more meaning to it. But Costco means just as much as that game ticket says to him. So, again, don't let that stop you.
It is sentimental, but let's be honest, it's also a little selfish.
I cry every time I go into Costco, so it is sentimental.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
We'll need a verdict on this one. You can share your thoughts at 877-2-RADIO-U. I guess the question here really is, does this qualify as cruel and unusual punishment? So here's the story. We've got a gal, Parma, Ohio. Video was posted of her throwing a burrito bowl at a Chipotle employee because the burrito bowl was not what she wanted. It didn't come the way she wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in a lot of those cases, something like that will happen, and the person never suffers consequences because they don't get caught. But in this case, the people that caught it on video and bystanders got like this lady's license plate and everything. So she went to court. I guess something along the lines of assault is what she was accused of. And the judge said, we're going to, you're guilty. And so your punishment is either pay a fine and serve 180 days in jail with 90 days suspended, or we can reduce your sentence by 60 days if you work 20 hours a week at a fast food restaurant for 2 months.
Now, Hudson, did you ever actually watch the video of this lady?
I didn't actually get to see it yet.
Oh, okay. So chucking is more like she just slammed this poor worker at Chipotle with the burrito bowl. So it was definitely on the lines of assaulting her.
Yeah, I should say so. And so now the question is, some people are saying this is letting her off the hook. Some people online saying this is letting her off the hook too easy because of what she did and just having to work fast food. That's just a job. But other people think that it's very appropriate. Yeah.
Not if we know when and where she's working.
Yeah, that's right.
We could go and put her through that punishment. I guess it's more like, is this creative sentencing enough so that she learns her lesson that working the way this Chipotle worker was working is not fun, and these people can be mean, and she can experience some of that trauma as well? Is that enough of a sentence?
Yeah. I you know what? I think sometimes a punishment like this actually can teach you more. Although I feel like this is more when you're like a child than when you're.
Well, she acted like a child.
She
Again,
did.
watch the video.
But yeah, putting yourself in the other person's shoes, you experience what they're experiencing. And so hopefully you'll be a little more patient with them in the future. I do think it's important. I think anybody that has never worked in fast food or worked a Walmart type job, just like one of those low level jobs where you have to interact with customers all the time. If you never worked that, you don't understand that people are trying their best most of the time. And, you just got to be patient.
And I don't think it's a low-level job. I think we, the customers, make it low-level with how we respond to everybody's work in there. But Chipotle people grabbed her license plate when she was speeding away, and they called local police, who went and arrested her at her home. So this happened in the fall, and now she was sentenced. So I guess the question is, so how long does she have to work in fast food if she chooses that side?
2 months, 20 hours a week.
20 hours a week.
But I guess she doesn't get paid.
And does she work at Chipotle, or can she pick which one?
That is not clear. That would be fitting, but it is not. I don't think that was actually laid out in the sentencing.
Because you can go rougher than
Yeah.
Chipotle.
Oh, for sure.
That seems nicer. So,
Although the Chipotle employees in the commercials, they always seem happy. But then when you actually go in and they have to like make everything to your specifications, and you have that guy that's like, I want a double scoop of meat, but I want no like all the little hacks. Chipotle is the worst for the hacks.
Oh,
where
that's
people think
true,
they figure out the secret to getting more meat or whatever.
and you're like, you used to give me more, and now it's
Yeah.
so small, which is actually true, which is why not everybody goes. So.
A burrito bowl on the side, but give me also a tortilla as well.
Yep.
Or, yeah, just all the hacks.
So the question is this the appropriate sentence if she goes and works fast food, or do you want her to have jail time?
I mean, she still gets both either way, right? Or no, she gets jail time either way. It's just a shorter sentence.
Shorter sentence, yeah, like longer jail time. Or yeah, sometimes what happens though is then they bring you in. They're like, well, we processed you and now you can go. Like that was scary enough for a light offense like this.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. People are texting in with their verdicts and their thoughts, so I think we'll get to those in just a few. And I just had one more epiphany on this too. Well, I think it's a good idea. I'll share it. Yeah, coming up.
Okay.
You got to stick around.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, we're talking about, we have a You Be the Judge going on where a Chipotle worker was assaulted by a lady in Parma, Ohio. The lady shoved the burrito bowl in this worker's face. And so now the assaulter, this lady has been sentenced to either 180 days in jail or she can get that reduced by 60 days if she works at a fast food restaurant 20 hours a week for 2 months. People are texting in their verdicts on if they think that's a good punishment or their thoughts.
I think we should also mention, too, this lady had a full-on meltdown with a worker for quite some time before chucking the Chipotle bowl into her face. So, like, she had a full Karen moment, and, you know, it wasn't just the throwing the bowl. She was just losing it, period. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially, yeah, she didn't just go from this burrito bowl is wrong, shove in the face. There was a whole lead up to it.
It escalated. So Zach said if I had to work 20 hours on top of my 40-hour job, then yes, that would be punishment. But Zach, you got to realize, well, like if you're going to jail still at this point, I bet you she's been fired.
Ooh, yeah.
She might not have a normal job at that point to go to.
Yeah, but still, I mean, either way, though, that seems to check out. Regina says that everyone should have to work in retail and or fast food, like I also said, and it would make our society a whole lot better. And Regina thinks she should have to work at McDonald's because those employees seem sadder.
Oh, no. Well, then I was mentioning to Regina, I said, I think Wendy's, every time I go to a Wendy's, they seem even sadder. But none of us are checking out Burger King. Like, we need to check on those employees.
Maybe
like, how's that going?
Maybe they're actually happy because they don't have any customers.
I don't know. Susanna says, does she have to have a good attitude the whole time, or does she go back to the other sentence? That's a good question.
See, Susanna, I think that's the whole point. I think that she would find out what the customers will act like if she has a bad attitude. That you have to be putting some effort into it, or the customers are going to get upset and start throwing burrito bowls at her.
Well, like the other employees, they would almost have to, like, what's the word? Like a parole person, you know, when they come check on you.
Officer, yeah.
An officer, yeah, person. Jeez.
That'd be a good title too.
Are you a parole person? But for the officer, would they have to check in with the employees that are co-working with her, and then they would decide if she can stay or if she's not doing a good enough job.
Let's see. Stephanie also agrees that she should have to work at McDonald's. And TJ just chiming in saying Chipotle hasn't been the same in the last 20 years. He's angry too.
And he's not even there.
Yeah. I didn't even know Chipotle was around 20 years ago, to be honest with you. So.
It feels like it. But TJ, we understand, like, no one is questioning the lady being mad at the bowl size. Yeah. We're not questioning that. We're just mad at how she responded to it.
Yeah, that's just you can't lash out that way. You just get upset about it. Maybe you leave a bad review later. That's the way you go about it. And then hopefully they send you like a coupon one day.
So Hudson, the question is, do you want to go to jail, or would you take the lighter sentence and go work fast food for the time?
I've worked fast food. I've never been to jail.
Phew.
I imagine.
Just wanted to find out.
I didn't hate working in fast food that much, so I imagine it has to be better than going to jail. I also think this is a great idea because, this is just a great idea to get restaurants more fully staffed. So
That's true. Oh my gosh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
But I want to know what type of jail, because some jails we've read about, they look like a spa, and I could use a break. So like, I'd have to find out where I'd go first before I would decide.
I feel like that's like the jail you go to if you like embezzle money. Where this,
if it's tax stuff,
yeah. Where if you're assaulting people, that's more of a bad jail you don't want to be around, because the other people in the jail with you are also people that assaulted people, and that means you might get assaulted. So
listen, I don't want to go to county jail, so I can't go.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I was just looking here at Tinder's year in swipe. It's time to look back at the year that was in dating for some of us.
I guess we are getting to the point where everything's going to be a year-end list soon.
Yep, that's all we can talk about now. And Tinder, what they claim they found in their results after looking back at this year is that there's a new trend in dating that they call NATO dating.
NATO dating?
Yes, and this shows that my brain is probably a little broken, because when I saw NATO dating, I was like, oh, what? That is they're talking about that treaty thing that like with Russia and whatever, so that if they ever invade like Germany, we have to fight them already. No, that is not what NATO dating is.
Is it NATO or is it NATO dating?
I guess if you pronounce it differently, it might
No,
make it
it's
more
probably
clear.
NATO.
But NATO in this instance stands for not attached to an outcome. And so what they're saying is that people are more likely now, if you're in the dating game, to enter into relationships or start dating somebody with less of a expectation of what the end result needs to be.
No, I guess that makes sense. So it's kind of similar to, they say here it's more about the journey, not really about the outcome. That seems non-committal. I guess some of us would be dating because you want to finally have an outcome.
Yes.
So it really just depends on what you're looking for. And then that's hard. I would want maybe Tinder to have like a button or something that shows if anyone's doing the NATO dating, I don't want to get them as an option. I would want
if you
to
want
make
something
sure.
serious.
Yeah, then you want to be connected with people who are also serious too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it definitely depends on the person, because especially maybe if you've been through a few tough relationships that didn't go the way you want. For some people, the worst thing you can do is go into any relationship and expecting this to be the person you have to spend the rest of your life with from the first date. You can't, that is just going to mess with your mind. You're putting way too much pressure on yourself. I think you need to be a little looser, or especially if you enter that way, the other person has a good chance of really making you upset if they're not viewing it the exact same way you are.
That's true. So if you're going out to go because it was such a trend this year to just go out on dates to get someone to buy meals for you.
Yeah.
And to see how many dates in a week you could get meals paid for and food and stuff. And that's kind of the shady side of dating. And if you want to just find someone to be in a committed relationship, then this is the opposite of what you want.
It sounds like what you just described, though, is being attached to an outcome, the outcome of getting a free meal.
Of your budget.
And that's the only outcome you care about.
That's true. You just want to have that be it. I don't know. It really just depends on everybody's style. Some people have been in a bad relationship. And so, yes, coming out of it, you don't want to have any outcome. You don't want to deal with that. You just want to have fun. So it really just depends.
It definitely depends. But apparently for a lot of people this year, it has been all about dating with a little less expectations, which yet again, for some of us that can be helpful. For some, that can be very dangerous.
They are calling it conventional milestones. So for some people, being married, having kids, or a house and stuff, those are not the milestones a lot of people are trying to check off nowadays.
Yeah. They're shedding expectations and just, dating.
But please treat me to dinner.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, we've got a groundbreaking study here that was just conducted by My Stomach that has found that pasta officially increases happiness.
I knew your study I knew your stomach had a good study in it.
Yeah, it was very scientific. It actually is. This is a real study where scientists claim they have proven that pasta and happiness are inseparable. Now, it wasn't conducted by my stomach, but it was conducted by probably the next most likely thing to prove that pasta increases happiness, and that's Italy.
Italy, of course. That's just because they're selling it.
Yeah, and they're trying to push their pasta on all of us, and it's working. But this was a study conducted by let's see here. It was conducted by Italy's Free University of Languages and Communication.
Interesting.
Yeah, they basically studied people's emotional reactions, kind of like they basically similar to a lie detector test, which we all know those are infallible. They basically did the same thing while people were eating pasta, and they found that eating pasta activates a strong and sustained emotional cognitive state similar to what you would experience when you're eating music, when you're listening to music or watching sports, or even surpassing those. So if you want to be super happy, you eat pasta while you listen to music and watch sports, and that'll make you as happy as you can possibly be, according to this study.
I don't think anyone's questioning if this is true or not, because I think it is true. They said they tracked brain activity in 40 allergy-free subjects who are part of this. Age 25 to 55. And it was just like your nerves, like your brain, everything's like firing because you're eating pasta, which, for carbs, for anybody who's been on a low carb diet, this has to be true because we're not happy.
That's right.
We're not happy. And when you have carbs, you're happy. So there it is.
Yeah, I didn't mean to rub it into those on a low carb lifestyle, but hey, the science doesn't lie.
It looks delicious. It looks really good.
What they need to find is what is the low carb food that makes people happy.
No, there is nothing. That's why if you're on a diet, you're just always not as happy. Like go to Olive Garden. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, that's right. Who is upset at Olive Garden?
No one.
It doesn't happen. This is I think this is important news to think about too. If you're getting ready for like a New Year's resolution or whatever, maybe you were considering a low carb diet. You do have to factor in, you might get healthier. You'll also be sadder.
They say that it's a comfort food, so it does increase happiness. So they say scientists and science supports the theory. So carbohydrates stimulate endorphins and just, get your body going, regulates your mood, relaxes your body, serotonin and stuff. So they say pasta should be something you keep in.
Well, is it too early to eat pasta right now?
Never. Breakfast pasta is something we should explore.
I'll do. If you put maple syrup on it like Buddy the Elf, I think it kind of ties together. I think that makes it very breakfasty.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.